Hey guys, and welcome back to This Place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, and today we are watching Season 3, Episode 10 of Battlestar Galactica. And I am super excited and nervous because I feel like we're getting very close to, if not already, like this episode will be, mid-season finale territory. And especially since the last episode was more of a, I don't know what to call it, it was more of a chill episode for sure. I mean, a lot of stuff happened, but it was just getting us caught up on individual characters and their relationships to each other and how those relationships have evolved into what they are now. Like the missing pieces of the puzzle that we did not see before, now we've seen. And so we understand like why Starbuck and Lee haven't had a scene together in a while. We understand sort of where Starbuck and Ty's closeness suddenly came from and how Starbuck ended up married to Anders, how Lee ended up married to Dwala. Like we get all of that now. And I know based off of the scenes that you guys said were cut out of the extended edition for the televised edition, like the official episode, I guess you would say, I'm really glad that I watched the extended edition because I want to know all of the tea, right? Like I need to know all of the determining factors of characters and why they made the choices they made and what happened and how it affected their relationship to bring them to where they are now. Because, you know, I'm nosy and I just like to be able to see all of the pieces of the puzzle and understand how they fit. Like, for example, someone was talking about how I think the Dwala scene was cut, the scene with her and Lee, where she says, you know, I know you're in love with Starbuck, but like I will marry you, right? And they were saying that they really liked that scene because it gives her agency over her own fate. And I agree, like even if I disagree with her choice, because I just wish that she would choose herself and understand that she deserves more than whatever someone is willing to give after they've already given their heart to someone else, right? I do appreciate that she went into it knowing everything and she still chose that. So like I can disagree with her choice and I do, but it's still her choice and I'm glad that she was the one to make it with full transparency involved, right? Well, maybe not full because she didn't know that there was I love yous exchange. She didn't know they slept together, but like more transparency than just being oblivious, right? I also love Rosalind and Adama's scenes, apparently some of which were cut, just because I really love the friendship and, you know, romantic sort of hints that are involved in Rosalind and Adama. Like, yeah, I don't know. Aside from Hilo and Sharon, who is probably like my favorite couple on the show, I think that Rosalind and Adama have a really interesting relationship and like I would totally ship it if they wanted to take it there. Because I think they both deserve some happiness. Although after last episode, I feel like Adama is definitely more like focused on being a military man and less of a human. And like a friend and a potential lover than ever before. So I don't know that that would happen, at least not for a while, but I would be interested in seeing it happen. Also, my shipping of Starbuck and Lee has, you know, fallen a few pegs. Like I still think that I want them to end up together. Maybe. It's hard because they're incredibly toxic for each other and just incredibly toxic in general sometimes to other people. So yeah, I don't know. I love both of their characters, but I definitely think that at least currently they kind of bring out the worst in each other And like, I kind of want to like separate them and like be like, here, grow on your own apart from each other first, and then we'll talk later, you know? So we'll see. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Let's just get into this episode and see what the maybe mid-season finale gives us.
She'll be here any moment.
Don't worry. Like, I just saw her. She was just in a cloud. It's fine. And I think she was fine. Was she not fine? Oh, okay. She looks slightly less than fine. But still alive. Oh, what's that? Why is it doing that? Sorry. That is a good way to cut your tongue. Excuse me? Why is she on fire? Her ship, at least.
Go ahead, I got your helmet.
Yeah, look. She's fine. She's fine.
There you go. Got it. Easy. Go ahead, walk it through. 70% spring. We're on the starboard side, go wash out. 14.
I think she's
All the way
fine.
down, Lieutenant. Right here, Lieutenant. Right over here.
Her nose.
Radiation negative.
Okay, negative radiation. That's good. She's not looking great.
There's a way through the star cluster. And I found the planet on the other side. I skimmed it, I took photos. There's huge swaths of algae just like we thought.
Okay. But how can you get
It's Black.
there?
She's a Cylon. She can handle a radiation dose that big.
We think. Someone call Caudle.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Maybe you are, but human might never be able to make it.
So then how do we get tens of thousands of humans through there?
Yeah.
People.
What if we bring the people to the food?
How?
But the people on Galactica send the civilian ships with skeleton crew, give them radiation meds.
Except that the radiation would fry the civvy ship's nav systems. They wouldn't be able to see squad on Dratus. There wouldn't even be a way to calculate a jump out.
It's worse than that. Once you jump in, the light is so blinding you begin to drift. And before you can get your bearings, here we're there.
No visual contact, instruments blinded by radiation. They'd get lost.
So it's pointless then.
Each Raptor could lead a civilian ship through the cluster, then they both jump out together.
Okay.
Question is, how many jumps will it take?
5 round trips.
Do y'all have enough radiation meds?
You heard. 5 round trips. You'll all be issued with radiation badges to track our exposure. White, like this, you're okay. As your exposure increases, it'll darken. If it approaches this, then you'll be pulled from duty. Keep checking your badges. It's every pilot's own responsibility to monitor their own badge.
Okay.
Starbuck.
Remember, we're all flying solo on this mission. So that means there'll be nobody there to bitch slap you if you start to get tired or start seeing little toasters on your wing. We'll be issuing stims, so use them.
What? Are you crazy? We can't use stims.
Kat, do you have a problem?
Stims amp up your metabolism. We've got nothing to burn. You put stims in our systems when we're flying into the sides of the ships.
Is that true they'd mess us up?
You used to like the stims, Cat.
All right, personal discretion on the stims. We're taking the first load of civilians on board as we speak. That's it. Skids up in 4 hours.
Okay, so they're gonna give them stems. She might not want to take stems because she has like a history of it, so that makes sense.
Leave this area. Force will be used.
What is she doing? Why do we keep focusing on her?
We'll all be returned.
Who's he? Who are you, sir?
Sasha.
Sasha? I thought her name was Kat.
My name isn't Sasha. My name's Captain Luann Catrain, you understand me? Sasha and you were a lifetime ago.
Right. Okay, so she changed her name?
They even know who you really are.
No. They sure don't. But I'm curious as fuck now.
Intentionally killing yourself over and over so you can download over and over. But death's just a revolving door, isn't it?
What is her motivation?
Since when is it a crime to take care of your own?
Alright, you're not... He's creepy. I don't like him.
Remember, I know who you are. And I know how to make you happy.
Get your hands off of me.
her past, but that guy is a creep, I feel. Okay. There they all go. I hope they have a shit ton of radiation meds.
Whoa! What is this? I can't see anything.
Yeah, that's what Sharon said.
We can't leave without her!
Jump complete. Dratus is back online. Ship reports moderate hull damage.
Galactica Apollo, first trip complete. Raptors, land your birds and prepare to jump back. The second group of civilians.
Okay. So they just have to go through there to get to the planet. I see. Oh, I hate throw up, you guys. I can't with puke. I can't.
I hear they're still eating paper. Is that true?
No. Paper shortage.
They ate a lot of paper. Or is he making a joke? Oh. Hey, they're at the delirious stage.
Not a good sign.
No, sir.
I cough when I laugh too much too, so I feel Adama on that.
It's rubbish, remember?
Oh, interesting.
Cylons, humans. We're all just trying to discover
Afterlife.
who we are,
Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna say what's after death.
aren't we?
It's interesting that she doesn't remember what happens after death. It's like the Cylon afterlife, right? It's blurry.
I took the name Luann Katrine from a girl who died 2 days before the attack on Caprica.
Okay. Who are you?
We didn't carry Cylons. How do you know? Because nobody knew that they looked like us. Then how do you know you didn't?
I mean, she's helped since then. I don't love her, but
You know, you think I'm a traitor?
I think she's proven herself. You know? Like, again, she's not my favorite person, but just in her interactions with Starbuck, I felt like some of it was unfair. But I don't know. I think that Starbuck is taking a moral high ground that she, one, doesn't need to take, and two, doesn't really have. You know? Oh, she's gonna grab his hand. Oh, she's looking at him.
Intelligence. It just speaks nonsense, doesn't it?
As in 5.
5 fingers.
5 faces. Now all we have to do is find the right planet.
Would that be that? That sounds
Right
complicated.
star cluster.
Okay, how do you know what star cluster, what planet? Hair falling out. Ugh. This seems very self-sabotagey.
Cat, you got virus up. Cat. Cat, report.
Apollo, Galactica Actual. Jump all.
Repeat. Jump all.
All right, Admiral's calling it. Everyone jump on my mark.
I'm not losing another one.
She's gonna wait. She's not gonna jump.
Mark.
Apollo, Starbuck? I don't see Cat.
She's gonna wait and she's gonna jump. And it's gonna probably be too late for her. I still think it's gonna be too late for her. Maybe they'll be able to save her. She's definitely trying, like doing like a suicide mission though.
It's them.
Okay. She got him.
She brought him home.
I worry it's too late.
Galactica. Cat. Mission accomplished.
I don't think she's gonna be okay. I just feel sad because, like, I think that she is a good person, you know? And I don't like that she was made to feel like she wasn't because of her past. Like, everybody has a fucking past. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's fucking perfect. I'm not perfect. You're probably not. I mean, you're definitely not perfect. No one is. That's the thing. She's gonna fall or something. Yep. Okay, she's alive though. She's alive.
Everybody is stuck with the things that they're not proud of.
Exactly.
That thing about good people,
You were wrong.
I didn't mean that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Here. Take these sleeping pills. Enough. So, take them if you want. Thank you.
I'm assuming she's not gonna make it. So
I gotta go.
Starbuck's giving her away. That's less painful.
So, you know I'm not getting out of here, right?
You earned it. What you did was harder than facing a bullet. I love the sick bay, in a way.
They just want her to be alone.
Reminds me of where my son Zach was born.
Really?
Carol Ann was so happy.
Did you want a girl too?
Yeah. Three's a good round number.
Didn't expect that they would make me cry over a cat. I hope this makes Starbuck realize how like the power of words, right? And that she doesn't need to just throw them around willy-nilly and like hurt people. Okay, so I think this was a really good episode, and while I was frustrated at Starbuck and the whole conversation that she had with Kat, aka Sasha, I like the way that they came around at the end, like with Starbuck and with Adama both sort of saying that, well, with Starbuck saying, you know, everyone has shit in their past and everyone has things that they regret and choices they made that they have to live with, right? And Adama saying it matters who you are now, like what you've done, right? Because at first I was getting a little frustrated, as I'm sure you guys saw, with Starbuck, because just because someone is a criminal or has committed acts that are illegal doesn't mean that they're a bad person. I think that there's danger in moralizing in that way and in sort of, you know, saying that if you've ever made wrong choices in your past, then you don't have the ability to be a good person now, right? I think that Starbucks made mistakes. Starbuck has made bad choices. Starbuck has fucked up. And I mean, again, everybody does. Everybody has. I have, you have, we all have. And I think that there's danger in not letting anybody change or grow or evolve from the versions of us that we used to be, right? Like, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that, you know, you thought 10, 15 years ago, depending on how old you are, of course, but that you would disagree with now. I'm sure that you made choices in the past that you disagree with now. And I think that that's just true for everybody. Like, it's a blanket statement that you can make about humanity. Like, sure, some people have made bigger mistakes than others, but as long as you are willing to acknowledge that it was a mistake and you're willing to learn from it, grow from it, change, and become a better version of yourself, then I see no reason to demonize people for who they used to be. You know, of course, it's all hinges on, are you growing from it? Are you learning from it? Are you changing? Are you becoming a better person? And with Kat, while she made choices I didn't agree with, she has spent the entirety since what happened on Caprica in the military. She joined the force that is fighting to save everybody. She's put her life on the line countless times to try to save people. And I think that that shows growth and change and a willingness to be, you know, confront the things that she did wrong and to try to make amends for them. And yeah, I also would be interested to know her situation on Caprica, right? She said that she was a drug runner and Enzo was her supplier. Now, as we learned in the past with the prison episode, many moons ago, I think that was way early in season 1, there was definitely planets and places on those planets that were a lot harder off than other places on the planets, right? So I would be interested to know her situation, like what her financial situation was, like if she grew up in a less than ideal situation, if this was sort of what she felt was all she could do, and what happened on Caprica happened, and she decided that it was her chance to be different and do better, because she said that she changed her name so that her record wouldn't taint the way people viewed her. So I'm curious, like, at what age she was first arrested, like if that impacted future employers, like the options that she had on Caprica, right? Because I think that in this sort of situation where Battlestar Galactica is a parallel of our society, if we look at it through that lens, if she had a record, I don't know if they, you know, if things count as juvenile, adult in that world, although there's a whole list of complications for that in our world too. But I'm curious as to if she did have a record, how that affected future prospects of employment and stuff on Caprica, because we've seen that the prison system in this show is very negative in the same way that our prison, or it is negative, but it's corrupt and bad. And prisoners are not treated with the dignity that they should be, because they're still people. And we've seen that sort of, and how it reflects back on our society. So I'm just curious as to what is different and what is the same in this world. And yeah, like I always say, of course, we can understand why a person makes the choices they make. It doesn't necessarily excuse it. Oftentimes it does not excuse it. If you hurt somebody, you hurt somebody. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. Like, it can help us to understand you and why you might make those choices. But you still hurt somebody and you still need to, like, you know, make amends for that. But in this case, yeah, we don't really know the full detail of Kat's past. So from what we do know and who she showed herself to be during the course of the show, I think that it was unfair of Starbuck to say what she said. And I think Starbuck recognized that at the end. And I do think that I like that Adama didn't require Kat to sort of confess before he would allow her to be forgiven, you know, quote unquote, be forgiven. Because he said, you know, and I think that Adama really does believe this because he said it in the past, you know, it's the choices that you make now that define you. Like, it's the choices after Caprica, after the genocide, after all of that. Like, what you do with your life now is what matters. And I think that Adama believes that. And I think that, I don't know. I agree, because I think it's, like I said, I think it's dangerous to demonize people for the choices they've made in the past. And everybody deserves the chance to grow and change and evolve into a better version of themselves. Now, obviously, if she was like a serial killer or something like that before, we might want to be a little bit more wary, but she was not. And I think that we can agree that, yeah, that she changed. And they made me cry about her, which you guys know, like, I've never been the biggest fan of Kat. And in this episode, I was staunchly on her side, right? Like, I was waiting, like, when that guy said Sasha, I'm like, ooh, she lied about who she is. Like, I want the tea. I want the gossip. Like, give me a reason to dislike her. And ironically, they gave me a reason to like her. So, yeah, I don't agree with what she was saying to Starbuck in that one episode about Starbuck. I didn't like that she criticized Starbuck for not getting into the cockpit drunk, or hungover and unable to make decisions that she should have been able to make, right? Like, that's the smart choice. Starbuck made the correct choice when she did that. But they just weren't the best of friends, right? Like, they kind of butted heads because Starbuck is a very big personality, okay? We all know it. I love her. Don't always agree with her, but I love her. But girl clashes with a lot of people. Anyway, I really liked Kat in this episode, though. And I'm not exactly sure why they had to jump through the radiation field to get to the planet with the algae. I can only assume that there was no other viable planet on the course for Earth. Or, like, they would have not been able to... Like, I'm assuming they had no choice but to jump through this radiation field to get to that planet, to get food, to continue on the path for Earth. Because they ran out of food. They were 7 to 10 days from having no food. And then everyone's going to die. So, yeah. It was definitely a dire situation. I'm assuming that there's no way that they could have, like, backtracked and gotten food from somewhere else. And so this was, like, their only choice. As far as we know, they lost 2 ships. The Adriatic, I think, and the Carina. I'm pretty sure those are the 2 ships. I don't know how many people that is. I don't know how big these ships were. I don't know. Like, we started off this episode with 41,000 some odd people. Not sure how many we have now. Maybe the little intro in the next episode will tell me. But, yeah. It just sucks that was their only choice, you know. I'm also really interested in what's going on with Gaius and 3 back on the Cylon ship. We're looking for the 5. We're very curious about the 5 Cylon models that we don't talk about. We've seen 7. There's 5 that everybody seems to be not really sure who they are and they don't talk about it. I'm not sure if they know why they don't talk about it or if they just know that they don't talk about it, because 3 doesn't seem to be super versed on it either. But Gaius and her talked to the hybrid And she was talking about the Eye of Jupiter, hand hidden in the shadows of light, which Gaius thinks is a star cluster. And so they just have to find the planet that is the Eye of Jupiter in a star cluster. And he thinks that the hand hidden in the shadow of light is like their 5 fingers. So 5 Cylon models that they're trying to figure out. And this is gonna somehow lead them to that. How they're gonna find the Eye of Jupiter, how they're gonna find the star cluster, how they're gonna find, you know, X, Y, and Z, I don't know. But I'm very interested because I want to know who these 5 Cylon models are. I want to know if it's who, like what a fucking twist would it be if like Adama or somebody was one of the Cylon models, you know? Like it would be like the ultimate sleeper. Right? Like the ultimate sleeper agent. Like Adama, Roslyn, Starbuck, Lee, Gaius. Although I don't think Gaius is going to be a Cylon. But I just think it would be a really interesting plot twist if one of the people that we were like convinced was human was a Cylon, you know? Like we know Hilo's human because their daughter, Hera, his and Sharon's, is a human Cylon hybrid, right? So not like the hybrid that we just saw, but a different kind of hybrid. And so we know he's human. Gaius is, you know, Cylon detection device. He just lied after he detected Sharon, so we don't know about anybody else. Yeah. I feel like Gaius's Cylon detection device was like, don't we think it shouldn't have worked? Because it's kind of OP, 1, and 2, it's like frustrating because it exists. So we literally could have figured out who all of the like it makes sense why he chose what he did, but also it would have been smart of him to just like figure out who all the Cylons were just for his own personal benefit and then like use that information for his own gain, right? Instead of just like figuring out that Sharon was a Cylon and then like pretending it didn't work. No? I don't know. All right, I think that's all that I really have to say. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. If you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. You can also watch the next episode right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube. You can also watch my entire full-length reaction over on Patreon as well. I have it all the way from the mini-series to now, including the Resistance webisodes. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Don't know what my voice is doing. For more Battlestar. Until then, bye guys.